Do you remember when you were a child and you would be trying to balance on a fence? So you might be walking along a thin fence and you would be taking really great care to keep your balance, wobbling a little bit from side to side, arms out to the side even, sometimes going a bit too far to one side and then having to really work hard to pull yourself back up, and you'd end up over the other side in order to give yourself balance. Well, life is like that, just like that. And one of the beautiful things about Wicca and paganism in general for me was understanding these poles, this polarity, and how we're always trying to maintain a nice sweet balance of equilibrium to find that sweet spot and that really beautiful spot. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. But before I do, hi, I'm Sandra from mysticmysterywitchschool.com. And if you're new to the channel and you want to become a witch or a Wiccan, or you want to know more about Wicca, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. So this wobbling, this walking along the fence, it's pretty much what life's like. We are walking along a fence and sometimes we fall off. And we have to get back on the fence again and try to maintain that sense of balance. And there can be a lot of reasons why the balance can be difficult to maintain. It could be a really windy day and the wind could be really, really strong and could be actually pushing you a little bit in one direction, and that could be hard to maintain your balance. Or the fence might just be a little wonky as well. So there's this, often it's the environment around us that can be difficult to navigate our way through at the same time. But understanding the Hermetic Principle of Polarity can help with some of that maintaining of the balance. And if you're not familiar with the Hermetic Principles, I have done a video in the past about the 7 Hermetic Principles. So if you want to find out more about them, and particularly the other 6, then I will put the link to that video in the description field below this one. Hermetic Principle of Polarity states that things are similar in essence but different by degree. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's to do with what is similar in essence. So we're looking at temperature, for example. We'll have hot and we'll have cold. They're polar opposites of each other. And some people would refer to them as being dual. So the dualism will often be very, very similar to the idea of polarity. But the difference with dualism is that they're dueling with each other. They're in opposition to each other. They're in conflict with each other. Night and day aren't in conflict with each other. They're simply, and temperatures of hot and cold, they're not in competition with each other. They are simply extremes of either temperature or extremes of day and night. They're not inherently good or inherently evil. They are simply differences. And understanding polarity as just simply being that, things that are opposite each other. And that opposite does not mean bad. The dualistic thinking that has come out of a lot of past spiritual paradigms, where we see things as being either one or the other. So this side good, that side evil. This side we must strive to maintain, this one we must destroy, and you know we can't have both. It's not understanding nature, and it's not understanding the principle of polarity. Because when we connect with nature, which is what being an earth-based spirituality is all about, we're seeing nature move through all of the extremes. And she does that all year, moving through the cycles of the seasons. So life is like that for us humans. We want to stay on the fence. We want to have that beautiful happiness and harmony, yet we wobble. And a lot of the wobbles can be simply to do with what's going on around us and also to do with ourselves. We can't really control what's going on around us, but we can work on ourselves and how we view the world so that we can understand polarity better, so that we can take a step back from what's going on in the world and what's going on and look at it from a more objective point of view, rather than getting swallowed up in some of the dramas and extreme ideologies, extreme opinions, extreme doings of people around us, because we can't control those. All we can control is ourselves. So polarity is about understanding the extremes and understanding how if we just step back from something and look at it and not judge something as being inherently evil or inherently good, it actually can help us find more peace and joy. It can also help us step back and listen more to other people. One of the ways that we humans really suffer, not understanding polarity, getting caught up in this duality of dual and saying this side's evil, this side's good, this side must stay, this side must be destroyed, is when we're disagreeing with each other, with opinions. And we'll get so attached to our opinion, to our ideology, to our spirituality, our beliefs, whatever it is, and we refuse to listen to another point of view, even if the point of view is still in essence similar. It's still about wanting to achieve a sense of spiritual harmony and connection. It might be wanting to have peace in the world, wanting to have equality and harmony in the world. Yet the opinions or ideologies may clash in many ways, and so we turn off our hearing, we don't look at it, and we just get fixated with our own ideas of how things should be. And then often we'll demonize the opposition. And we've seen this of course happen with religion, and how easily it happens in religion, because religion is one of those things that people get very possessive about and very, very fixated on. Our ego jumps at religion and really holds on tight, because we identify ourselves somehow with our spiritual beliefs, when really spirituality is about letting go of the ego and letting go of identifying with things and holding on to things. It's about letting all that go and just being able to take a step back, look at the world objectively, see the different ideologies and opinions and experiences out there, see what's similar about them, and work on what joins us together and what creates similarity and harmony, rather than getting really possessive and precious about our view versus somebody else's view. The principle of polarity and nature can help us do that. When we can see that nature doesn't attach herself to either end of a pole, she's always moving through things, she's always going through that nice sweet spot in the middle most of the time, and then at times she'll go to the extremes. She never stays in the extremes for long, generally speaking. Even if there's a natural disaster, she won't stay there for long. She has more harmonious moments than she does extreme moments. She only goes to those extremes when she's needing to balance herself in some way, because there's been a need to do that. And if we humans can understand that, if we can understand that this equilibrium that we're all wanting, this harmony and peace and happiness and joy and all of that good feeling stuff, we can't change the world around us, we can't change other people, but we can work on our own beliefs and our own way of seeing the world. And it's so easy to fall into, especially if, you know, as in Wicca and witchcraft particularly, we have a history of persecution. So there is a lot of row often between witchcraft, Wicca and some other religions because of that history. But we have to take a step back even from that and go, yeah, okay, that all happened in the past. And even if there is some people who would still like to see us burn at a stake because they think we're inherently evil because we're not what they want us to be, in order for us to maintain that equilibrium, we can't buy into that story. We can't buy into that narrative of theirs, and we can't then take the opposing narrative and think that, oh, they're evil and they're bad because of what they think. To walk that really sweet spot, we have to see, what do we have in common? What do we have that's similar in essence with these people? And that's the desire for joy, for love, for peace, for harmony. We all want the same thing. Even if we've got screwed up ways of going about it, we all want the same thing. So it's understanding what is the essence underneath all of these things that are going on, And where is the extremism, and how do I stop myself from going into too much of an extreme so that I don't fall off the fence? Even if the other people fall off the fence, fine, but you don't want to be the one falling off the fence. So the principle of polarity is really helpful to take a step back, look at a situation, look for what is similar in essence, just different by degree, and to understand that when it comes to nature, there is no inherent good and there is no inherent evil. Even if something appears to be the most destructive thing, from nature's point of view, it's simply part of her process of destruction and creation. And she's always going through this beautiful dance between the two. And part of the shadow work that we like to do as witches, to really understand ourselves and to move through all of the blocks and barriers and beliefs and ugly parts of our human selves, and to integrate them to make them positive things. This understanding of polarity is a part of that. It's a part of being able to step back and look at our shadow side and not judge our shadow side as being inherently evil as well, because it's not. There are actually reasons why we have these shadow qualities, and when we start to understand what they're for and why the ego uses them, we can actually turn them from being something that's destructive to being actually something that is useful and actually creative, which is where the higher self starts to become the master of the lower self. So I hope that that rant makes sense. The whole rant sort of came about because we were having this discussion yesterday during a new moon rite in the Mystery Witch School 101 course, and we were talking about polarity and dualism and the difference between the two, and people's experiences of polarity, coming away from just having an intellectual understanding of it to actually really experiencing the polarity, experiencing it in nature, experiencing it in oneself, and how liberating and freeing it is to have that experience. If you are interested, of course, in joining the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy, where you can learn and start to practice Wicca, actually. Learning Wicca and practicing Wicca are two very different things. Wicca is a practice. If you want to practice Wicca and you have had enough of just looking at the books and reading the books and still not knowing where to start or what to do, I'll put the link to that course in the description field below this video as well. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Blessed be.